Good morning to our Odoo community tuning in to today's talk. I hope you've enjoyed all the great talks presented during this year's Odoo experience. My name is Samuel Greenzarado. I'm a team leader in the Channel Sales Department, the department responsible for the development and management of our partner network. Today, I have the pleasure to present to you a business talk on how to recruit and scale your Odoo team for long-term success as an Odoo partner. Here is the agenda of today's talk. We will start by a brief introduction on who this talk is for and what you will get out of this talk. So, who is this talk for? First off, it's for partners who are currently at the top of the Odoo pyramid and would like to secure their long-term positioning. Secondly, it is for new partners who have the resources, backing, and industry position to quickly reach the top of the Odoo pyramid. And finally, it is for any partner or company in need of practical recruitment tips and tricks. What will you hopefully get out of this talk today? Hopefully, reasons to recruit, motivation to recruit, and tools to recruit. Section 2, active recruitment. Here are the three main reasons why you could and should consider adopting an active recruitment strategy. To start, the ERP industry is growing at 14% year on year. The Odoo industry is growing at a stunning 15% year on year. Partners can mirror the trend and benefit greatly from the current health of our sector by also adopting a growth mindset. Whether it is future revenue generated, billable hours invoiced, number of projects implemented, or indeed the number of hires made for their Odoo team to help achieve their growth objectives. Building on this, today the demand of Odoo partners is high. The growth of our partner network is around 25% year on year. However, the growth of our demand from businesses looking to undertake their digital transformation with Odoo is hovering at around 55% year on year. The gap between supply and demand is considerable, which presents a great opportunity for partners to scale their teams and operations to service the gap in the market, and consequently boost their current and future positioning, in the process growing their revenue. Finally, as Odoo is becoming recognized as the tool of choice for SMEs and mid-markets, larger IT companies and consulting firms will gradually adopt Odoo as one of their principal offerings, making it harder for the smaller partners who have nurtured our network for years to be at the top of the pyramid in the future. By adopting an active recruitment strategy and attracting the best talent to grow their operations, our partners sitting at the top or near the top of the partner pyramid today will be able to secure their position as Odoo leaders in the future. What is the best way to plan your recruitment? Plan, execute, repeat. Most of our partners today are taking their Odoo objectives a year at a time, even some of our very best. As the industry is unsaturated and the market's healthy, this allows a certain level of complacency about planning for the future. However, in order to really seize the opportunities presented, it is important that our partners' growth is structured and planned. Your growth plan should help you identify the recruitment needs for the next 3 to 5 years to help you meet your revenue, project, and billable hour objectives. Without clear, measurable, and an objective plan, you are susceptible to being overtaken by other partners in the near future, and it could result in a negative downward spiral of stagnating growth and difficulty attracting talent. Here is one of the tools that your Odoo account manager has at their disposal to help you prepare a growth plan for the next 3 to 5 years, which will include recommended hires to make in the service team to meet those targets. To sum up this section, a few good words from Thomas Edison. Good fortune is what happens when opportunity meets planning. Today, I've argued that the opportunity is here. Now, demand is high, the partner network is healthy, and our gold and silver partners are in a good place to cement their Odoo positioning in the future. If this is combined with clear planning that takes into account the hires needed to meet your specific growth objectives, the future will be full of fortune, increased revenue, projects and billable hours, and the securing of your long-term positioning at the top of the Odoo partner pyramid. Section 3. Now we'll be looking at the best way of attracting talent. The heart of attracting talent is your employer branding. But what is employer branding? Employer branding is a strategy to position your organization as the employer of choice, both for current employees and prospective candidates. So how do you build your employer branding? After much research into the topic, I believe employer branding rests on 3 key pillars. The first being the company mission and vision. This is what underpins everything you do. It is your offer to the market. A company that understands what its purpose is, the why, is more likely to be able to transmit that enthusiasm in their communications to prospective candidates and thus boost application rate and conversion rate. The second pillar is the employee offer. Here, I'm not only talking about the contractual terms and financial compensation you will give to the employee, I'm talking about the full 360-degree offer you give to your employees, including professional development opportunities, career progression paths, work-life balance commitments, the support network for their success, and a true purpose to their job, which they will be spending 8 hours a day doing. The third and final pillar, the glue which will bind the company mission and vision with your employees, is the company culture. This is one of the most critical aspects of employer branding. This is the real-life image you want to project to your employees and prospective candidates. Underpinning the company culture are the values you want to promote, the type of team dynamic you want to have, the type of workspace you want to foster, and how you can communicate internally and externally. As a final point, I would recommend that you build your 3 pillars as a company through a culture charter, a set of co-created cultural and behavioral aspirations for leadership, the team, and the broader community that can guide and inform you and all your interactions. This will mark a before and an after in the existence of your business. We have a whole book about employer branding, our very own culture charter. I would recommend to make yours today. Here are 6 practical examples of actions you can take to promote your employer branding once you have completed your culture charter based on the 3 pillars we have discussed: employee testimonials, company employee guide, about us page, company blog, social media posts, and finally, a dedicated careers page. Now that we have our employer branding pillar set in stone and we have planned some actions to take to raise our employer brand awareness, where and how do we find talent? Well, it all should start as close to home as possible. Your first port of call should be your own company. Are any of your employees looking for a new challenge or thinking about leaving? Hiring internally is quick. The candidate's adaptation period is shorter than other candidates, and the cost of acquiring the candidate is 0. At Odoo, since 2022, 15% of a team's hires have been via internal transfers, and it has really worked out for us. The second option you have are second connections, or referrals as they're generally known. Incentivizing your team to recommend suitable profiles in exchange for goodies or vouchers will save you a lot of time and cash than having to search for qualified candidates directly in the market. Your employees know your company, so can provide the first screening. They have a wide network of potential candidates that otherwise would be untapped and will know who to recommend the position to. Referral candidates are a low-cost way of getting qualified candidates that will be a company and cultural fit for you. Here at Odoo, we make 50% of our hires through our referral application, a stunning figure, really. The first 2 options can have some limitations, however. It is more challenging to find harder to fill roles or keep a regular stream of applicants. Opening up your search efforts to the wider market and diversifying your channels will help you to receive a constant, high volume stream of candidates through a wider reach and assist you in difficult to fill positions or meeting very short-term hiring needs. All 3 of these will be tried, tested, and used at different points of your recruitment journey, so it is important you become acquainted with them. Let's talk about some key elements that will make your job posting stand out. Here are 5 steps to advertising your jobs. Whichever channel you use to advertise your job posting, it should be searchable through specific, simple, and non-jargony job titles. A bad or vague job title will reduce the number of applicants you receive. Throughout the job presentation, ensure that your 3 pillars of employer branding are present throughout. These are the 3 key things prospective candidates will be picking up on consciously and subconsciously when deciding whether to apply to your job. Ensure the text is concise and persuasive with a good structure utilizing bullet points, sections, and highlighting keywords. It is important that your text reinforces the call to action, which is to apply now. Make sure your text gives the key information in an exciting, digestible way to ensure that candidates don't jump off your job landing page. It is, if possible, always mention the salary range, as it is proven to boost the chances of a candidate applying for your job. Utilize media in your job posting if supported by a channel whenever possible. A picture paints 1,000 words and a video more. It is a quick, appealing way for prospective candidates to get a real feel for your business and the job they're applying to, and is more engaging to today's younger workforce. Finally, and one of the most important elements, is to ensure your job requirements and expectations are not too high, too detailed, or too demanding that potentially good candidates are deterred from applying in the first place. So, Lower the bar on your job postings to boost applications and not miss out on these good candidates. And use the first screening or interview to determine whether the candidate is a good fit or not, rather than the job posting itself. As the battle for talent becomes more pronounced, having attractive perks can push a candidate over the line to apply to your job or choose your company as their next employer. Perks in general will not make or break your recruitment, unlike not having the 3 pillars well defined, but it is wise to have some to offer your future employees as part of the Employer 360-degree offer. Here are 3 examples that you could adopt yourself. For example, you could take a wellness package, training and development, an insurance plan, or travel allowance. Section 4, which will cover how to organize your recruitment process in the most efficient way possible, but also how to identify top talent once you are in discussion with the candidates. Before we dive into how to structure your recruitment process, we must first understand what we're looking for in a candidate so that when they are in our recruitment process, we can identify them and not let them slip our grasp. Let's look at the 6 different categories of evaluation. Which is the most important? Here at Odoo, we value all the categories, but one that we place great emphasis on is the candidate's soft skills. These are the non-technical skills that relate to how someone works, how they interact with colleagues, how they solve problems, and their general work ethic. So, when you have a hire to make, first sit down and take a look at the soft skills the ideal candidate needs to have that you can keep an eye out for during the recruitment process. Identifying these will also tailor the types of cases or questions you may ask to elicit if the candidate has the soft skills or not. So know them beforehand. A great quote that summarizes our attitude here at Odoo to identifying talent is by Simon Sinek, which states that you don't hire for skill, you hire for attitude, because you can always teach skill. Through a strong onboarding and training program, you can take a junior profile or a less qualified one with excellent soft skills suitable for the position and make them as competent as a senior profile in a matter of months or a few years at most, depending on the position, of course. This could save you time and money, as junior profiles or less qualified ones are easier to recruit and demand less financially. Now that we have identified what we're looking for in a candidate, we must turn our attention to how our recruitment process is organized. Here at Odoo, we have broken the recruitment process in 3 clear steps. First, we have a screening, which will be a short 30-minute call that will go through the candidate's past experiences and background, motivation for applying for the job, and an opportunity for us to share some practical information with them about the job and the company culture. After the screening, we always ask the candidates to take a short 30-minute logic test for non-technical profiles or a technical test for technical profiles. Why do we ask for the logic or technical test? It won't be the determining factor moving forward to the second step of the process, but if there are 2 candidates at the end of the process vying for the same position and we're unable to choose between them, we can review the scores of the test to help us make up our mind. It is an objective score that will indicate the candidate's lateral thinking and problem solving, which are a good indicator for hidden talent. The second step is in the main interview, which at Odoo can either be 1 interview of 4 hours or 2 interviews of 2 hours. Here is where we will test the candidate on their soft skills and competencies to be successful in the position, a chance to see if they would be a good company fit, and sell Odoo as an employer of choice. This main interview will be primarily case and role-play based and will aim to reflect the reality of the position the candidate is applying to, and really challenge the candidate to see if they have what it takes to fulfill the job and become part of the team. Finally, if successful, we will send an offer the next day or within a few days at most. First, it will be communicated over the phone to be able to transmit the excitement of them joining, clarify any final questions, and discuss the practicalities of signing the employment contract. Once discussed over the phone, a formal offer will be sent from our Odoo recruitment app via the salary configurator. So a quick recap. The recruitment process must be fast and streamlined in as few steps as possible, with a quick decision turnaround time. It needs to be consistent and objective, so try and have the same questions and cases for all candidates applying to the same position. It has to test competencies and soft skills through a variety of cases and role-play based challenges. It has to reflect the reality of the position they're applying to. And finally, it must sell the company and job, so that if they are the ideal candidate, we do not lose them out to a competitor. Here is a quick overview of how we break down our main interview. 10% of the time will be to recap the background and motivation of the candidate if we were not the ones doing the first screening. 70% of the interview will be dedicated to the practical cases and role-play based challenges discussed. The final 20% of the time we will use to sell the position and our company, mentioning the Employee 360 offer and company culture in Odoo. We will give them practical information about the day-to-day activities and responsibilities of the job, and finally answer any outstanding questions from the candidate. I've mentioned these famous cases and role-play-based challenges. Here are some concrete examples of the different case types and role-play-based challenges you could use during your main interview process to see if the candidate is a good company and job fit. We won't use all the challenges for every position, but we'll pick the relevant ones out. We have generic business challenges, lateral thinking challenges, technical challenges, Odoo demo challenges, position-related challenges, and innovation cases. To conclude this section, we have a large part of our great success we've had in the recruitment is the fact that we ourselves use Odoo to manage the whole recruitment process in a centralized and highly automated fashion. From posting our jobs online using our website application, to boosting the applications we receive through our referral app, managing and automating the steps and communication during the recruitment process through our recruitment app, and finally sending an offer to the candidate via our salary configurator. Our internal system allows us to be efficient and take the initiative during the hiring process. To complement the theory behind recruitment practices shared today, it is important to have the system to do this. The final section of our talk, but not least important, is post-recruitment onboarding. Onboarding is the final piece of the puzzle and one of the most important elements of recruitment. Onboarding refers to the process in which new hires are integrated into the organization. It includes activities that allow new employees to be successful at their job as quickly as possible, as well as learn about the organization and its structure, cultural, vision, mission, and values. So what are all the factors to consider when onboarding a new recruit? We have product and service knowledge, we have team integration, we have tools for success at their job, company cultural fit, sessions, vision and mission training, and finally, role and responsibility guidance. What action can you take to help with the onboarding process? Here are some: shadowing, training session, learning materials. So why is onboarding so important? You will have increased productivity from your new employee. You will have higher engagement from them. You will have longer term retention, as they will have a better experience from the start, which really dictates the whole process. And finally, you will have quicker return on investment on them and improved well-being on their behalf, so more productive. Thanks for listening. I hope the talk has been interesting and has provided you some good advice in scaling your Odoo teams. I will now take some